everyone. Welcome to Realization Hub. My name is Michelle, and I'm an intuitive counselor, energy healer, astrologer, and channeler. And I teach people how to heal themselves and develop their intuition so that they can feel whole, healed, and balanced and navigate their spiritual transformations with ease and clarity and empowerment. And today is going to be an energy update for the new moon in Libra that's happening on October 21st, which is going to be at 2:25 a.m. Hawaii time. And just a heads up for anyone that is listening, I tend to go back and forth between talking about the technical astrological transits and what that might mean. And then I also weave in and out of some intuitive insights or messages that are coming through about the current energies that are happening now. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is a planet about our relationships, about our love language, about our aesthetics and beauty and money. And so this new moon can also bring up some of those themes as well. And then, of course, when you look at your own birth chart and you look at the house that is ruled by Libra, this new moon would be bringing up themes related to that area of your life, that context of your life. And I'll go at the end of this video, I'll go through all the rising signs to help you identify where in your life this new beginning is occurring. The first thing I want to explore about this new moon is what's happening directly to this new moon. And we actually have some very powerful energies that are occurring around this new moon. And so, whatever you are intending around this time, any desires, any intentions, any manifesting that you're doing, or just things that are occurring spontaneously for you as far as things that are getting started at this time, is actually going to be quite expansive and powerful because we have Jupiter, the planet of abundance and blessings and of our knowledge and wisdom, um, that is bringing expansion to everything that it touches. Jupiter is currently in Cancer, exalted in Cancer, which means that it can express itself in the best way possible there. In Cancer, Jupiter is very abundant. It's bringing blessings that allow us to connect more with those that we love. It brings blessings that allows us to protect and guard those that we love and connect and bring closer those people that we love and care about. And it can bring a deep sense of emotional security to those so-called soul family that we have, whether it's your literal family or your soul family or anyone that you would consider to be your family. And so Jupiter is squaring this new moon in Libra. Jupiter at 24 degrees, Libra at 28 degrees. And so this is a pretty tight square. And now, usually a square in astrology is interpreted as something that is challenging, something that requires change or embodiment or growth. And essentially, this is what I would consider the challenge of growth that is occurring in your life with this new moon, the challenge of growth. It might feel, challenging, but objectively, anything that touches Jupiter is very, very positive. It brings more abundance and blessings into our lives. So even though we have this square, this is a very, very positive new beginning. It's just a new beginning that's going to keep on giving. It's going to keep on expanding. It's going to get bigger. Whatever we plant here, the seeds that we plant here, it's going to keep expanding, and it's going to expand beyond probably what we thought it would expand into. It's going to go into you know, bigger places. It's going to ripple out into more. It's going to turn into more experiences where those experiences are going to be filled with lots of wisdom and knowledge because of this new initiation that we're doing. Energetically speaking, when I'm looking at this square with Jupiter, I see this as a journey that we're all going on, when we start this new beginning, a journey that can elevate our finances and our abundance and our blessings in our lives. This is a new beginning that could definitely provide gifts and an expansion of your own abundance and what you can receive and what you can have and what you can um, elevate as far as your money and your wealth or like your abundance goes. The other thing I want to point out here is that Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth and transformation, is going to be squaring this new moon. So this can bring a level of psychological or emotional intensity that is very deep in our energy. It can go really deep into our psychology. So, this new beginning that we are starting with this Libra new moon does bring us through a transformation that requires a lot of growth and possibly embodiment. And that's what makes it challenging because it's not something that just falls into our lap. It's not just a transformation that just falls into our lap. It's not just an opportunity that we have to go out of our way to take that leads to transformation. It's not something that's tense, that we have to balance something out in order to get this transformation. This is a transformation where we have to embody two different energies at once, right? And it leads us through possibly a death and rebirth process. And Pluto, the god of the underworld, can also represent our soul and our soul's evolution. So if we're starting this new beginning that's expanding our abundance or bringing more blessings and gifts into our lives, something that grows, something that gets bigger, something that expands us in our lives, Pluto is going to be going deep into your energy, this Pluto archetype, let's call it. It's like you are going deep into your energy on a soul level. You are going deep into your energy and you are purging out the psychic interference, the psychological interference, the things that you have outgrown, the things that you are done with, the things that are keeping you tethered to lower levels of existence, lower levels of being, lower levels of primal instinctual behavior that is keeping you from elevating and growing and expanding into higher states of abundance and higher states of wealth and higher states of, yeah, I'll call it abundance because it doesn't just, I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about the way you live your life where things are provided, where things are there, what you need is there, what you want is there. When things flow and emerge into your life effortlessly, this is a type of abundance that goes beyond money, that goes beyond, actual material wealth. The abundance of what we can receive, the abundance of what brings us emotional security, the abundance that brings us connection and love and um, closeness with others. And Pluto's going to go, our soul, this soul energy is going to go deep into our energy, purging and tearing down anything energetically that must go, that is getting in our way. So it's very, very deep and it can be very complex and it can be psychological and it can be energetic and it can be emotional. And at the same time, it takes us through a metamorphosis. takes us through a metamorphosis that is a death and rebirth process. And a metamorphosis is just like the caterpillar going, it eats all the leaves, it gets really fat, and that's that phase of metamorphosis where we're taking in a lot of information. And then we get so full of that new information that we must change. We cannot stay the same person because we are enlightened. We are full of information that goes beyond our current state of existing. And so we must die because we can no longer operate in the same level of being because we have taken in so much more insight, so much more information that goes against who we are now. And so instead of having to change everything, we go through a death and rebirth process. And that's when that caterpillar has that natural instinct to put itself into a cocoon, to let itself completely melt into goo, and then reform itself into the butterfly and reemerge as this completely new identity or completely new form that can go out into the world and live a completely different existence. And so this is the energy of this new beginning. It's big, it's expansive, and it's deep, and it's full of metamorphosis. And so it can bring us through a journey, a journey in which we might be going into our depths, into our shadows, and into our personal underworlds, the hidden energies within us that need to be where we need to bring our consciousness and our light of awareness into these areas to flush it out and to embody something new. And what we're embodying is both our ability to be, objective and diplomatic and bring things back into balance that have not been in balance, especially in our relationships and us as individuals in our relationships. That's something that's coming into balance where it hasn't been into balance in this new moon. And we're integrating that and embodying that with our unique perspectives and our unique gifts that we are here to bring out into the world and share for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of the group, for the betterment of the world. And we have to integrate both of those things for our overall transformation and for our overall soul journey. So this new moon is in a direct alignment with our soul's journey and our overall transformation and the expansion and the journey we must go through to get there. And that's what makes it challenging, is that it can be intense, deep, complex, emotional, psychological, and it requires growth, and it requires embodiment, and it requires change. It requires you to do something about it, and that's what makes it challenging. Now, another thing about this new moon in Libra is that there is a yod, which is called it's a finger of God in astrology, which is made up of two inconjunctions or quincunx aspects that point to the new moon, creating like a long triangle that points to something, that points to a planet. And it creates a sextile between two planets. In this case, it's creating a sextile between Uranus and Neptune, creating a finger of God that's pointing to the new moon. And this is saying something about us on an emotional level, where something has been maybe overexpressed emotionally or underexpressed emotionally, repressed, something that has been overexpressed or underexpressed on an emotional level. It's been repressed, right? And so when we're looking at the two energies here that may have been overexpressed or underexpressed, we're looking at Um, we're looking at Uranus, okay, the planet of revolution, the planet of awakening, the planet of the higher mind, the planet of disruption and chaos and unpredictability and change and uniqueness and our brilliance. And when I'm looking at this energy for us on a personal level, what I'm sensing about this is where our own autonomy and independence has been inappropriately expressed on some level. Maybe it has been overexpressed and you have just gotten to be like this emotional kind of rebeller, rule breaker, someone who's too independent, overly independent, breaking all the rules, not listening to anyone, and maybe that is out of balance. Or maybe this part of you, this independent part of you, and this unconventional part of you, maybe this different part of you that's very different and unique and special or brilliant or genius on some level has been repressed. And instead, you've become more of a passive people pleaser, who has repressed your independence and your own, brilliant way of operating on some level. What makes you different? And then we have Neptune in this in conjunction, which can represent our etheric realms, our creativity, our creative abilities, our imagination, our dreams, our energetic reality, and possibly again where something has been repressed, like maybe our creativity has been repressed, maybe on the astral realms or in the etheric realms you literally carry foreign energy that is blocking you from manifesting what you want, or being able to bring your creative energy into the body, or that has been cutting off information related to your emotional nature, or something that has been suppressing you energetically in the etheric realms that has affected your ability to create or receive more abundance, right? Because we have this Jupiter square, and so there might be things in the astral realms that your own energy dynamics that have been compromised, that have been way too open, maybe way too sensitive. You have no boundaries, and you're getting enmeshed and mixed up with everyone else. You're getting mixed up with the collective energies, and you can't like actually create what you want, or you've been really repressed, like let's say you've taken on a lot of religious energy that suppresses you as a female, that doesn't want you to have more money or have more authority in the world because that would be bad for them. Um, and so, that's a type of repression that occurs on a spiritual level that would keep you from having a balance of abundance in your life. Um, and so this is the yod energy, which means it's a fated new beginning that we must embody for the overall rebalancing that we need in our lives. And, we're looking at something that has been emotionally um, you know, overexpressed or underexpressed, repressed, and we're having to bring that into balance. Now, this is kind of like a healing new moon because we have this new moon in opposition with Chiron, the wounded healer. So we might be getting these reflections, outside of us in our relationships. We might be getting a lot of these reflections related to this new moon where we're seeing um, in other people, or other people are reflecting to us some of our own trauma, some of our own patterns, and some of our own wounds related to our individuality and where we may have been suppressed or um, over expressing something in a way that is um, sabotaging us in some way, anything, um, and I would call that our shadow aspects. The shadow sides of us, the parts of us that are hidden, the parts of us that are wounded, the parts of us that are traumatized, they sabotage us. They're hidden, they're repressed. And when they come up to the surface, it can kind of happen out of nowhere. It can happen spontaneously. It can be kind of confusing. And bam, we get sabotaged by our own behavior. And it's because it's our own wounds and our own healing that has not come to balance yet. And so this new moon can be a little bit like a mirror that's occurring, where we might be interacting with certain relationships in our lives or certain circumstances in our lives that is showing us our own patterns. And we think it's about the other person, but it's actually about ourselves and where we need to heal and where we need to bring back into balance, where we nurture ourselves in our relationships and financially, where we need to bring ourselves back into balance on some level around our confidence and asserting ourselves and getting our own individual needs met in a relationship. And so you can think about Libra as like a courtroom. And you can think about your own energetic courtroom. You can imagine that you have your own energetic courtroom and you're going to bring something new into the courtroom. Something in your life that is calling for rebalance. And maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's something related to Venus, like beauty or your love language or your values or your aesthetics, or some type of disharmony in your life. Or maybe it's related to that area of your life that's ruled by Libra. Maybe there's a particular context in your life that just feels out of balance. And that's what you're bringing into your courtroom. And you're placing it in front of the judge. And you're saying, we need to start a process of objectively looking at some things, objectively looking at myself and my trauma and where this is playing a part in this imbalance. Where is this dark aspect or shadow aspect of myself or trauma wound of myself? Where is it playing out in this relationship dynamic and this abundance issue in which it is causing sabotage? And how can I objectively look at this from different perspectives, from different facts, from different from a diplomatic point of view, so I can weigh things out and really make a decision and really, cast, a decision upon what is needed. How do I follow through in this situation? Okay. And so this would be something that you might be playing out outside of you in your relationships, where it's something a little bit projected outside of you, something that's being mirrored to you, or it could be something that's just happening very deep, very internally, that's being activated by certain circumstances. Now, this new moon is ruled by Venus. So I'd like to explore Venus here and what's happening. Venus, first of all, is going to be home in Libra, which means that it's very comfortable in Libra. It can express itself very comfortably. It's kind of like when you go to an Airbnb and you're visiting an Airbnb and it feels just like home. It's just, you walk in and you're like, I like the decorations. I like the layout. I like everything that's provided here. I like where it's located. It feels very comfortable, right? And so Libra feels very comfortable here, which means we all can feel a little bit more comfortable with our money, with our relationships, because we can naturally be more objective, naturally be more diplomatic, naturally be more fair and harmonizing and considerate of the other person's perspective, point of view, and needs. And Libra here is at 9 degrees. It's actually going to be it's nothing, no actual planet is aspecting Venus. But um, there are some asteroids. Like we have Athena, goddess of war, um, who is in a trine with Venus here. And so this brings us a very supportive energy in our relationships around counseling and around strategy and around having the knowledge and wisdom that we need to strategize and counsel with one another, to bring back balance and diplomacy and fairness to a situation, as well as, continue to carry a vision, an innovative vision, into our worlds, and sharing our gifts, with the world for the betterment of others. And then we have a square with Hygeia, the goddess of miraculous healing here. And this would indicate, more growth, but it also indicates healing, the alchemy of healing, especially on emotional levels and intuitive levels. Hygeia and Cancer has to do with our hearts and has to do with, our fourth chakra and the way we're connecting with others. And it has to do with our ability to be emotionally intelligent and intuitive and healing. Um, and so this is where whatever is being initiated at this time, we have a powerful new beginning that is deep, that has an alchemy to it, that can help kind of miraculously heal something, you know, um, on an energetic level, something that usually, like an old pattern that usually plays out a certain way, like an old trauma loop, that's playing out a certain way. Suddenly it's like the record skips and we shift to a different rhythm or a different pattern or a different way of handling it. And it's kind of a miracle and it creates a healing. And it's like, oh, that's how I handle this pattern. Oh, that's how I handle this. That's what I need, or that's what it can be, like an instant miraculous kind of alchemy that occurs that changes the patterns, that provides us knowledge and strategy. And Venus is going to be in opposition with Ceres, which brings up themes around food and how we nurture ourselves. And having Ceres and Aries is going to definitely bring up themes around how we nurture our self. Aries is all about the self, I am. And so we're going to be balancing things out between how we nurture ourself in this new beginning, as well as remain open and diplomatic and fair with others. So, generally speaking, this new beginning is where we might feel like something is out of balance in our lives and where we initiate a process and an experience to help bring it back into balance in our lives. And that means you're going to be in your energetic courtroom collecting information, collecting different perspectives, different information from different perspectives, and gathering that, as well as going through a healing process with your own trauma, your own shadows, to take a look at, am I really like this, or is this coming from a wound? And how can I change this pattern? Maybe there's something that I need. What do I really need in a relationship? How do I really need to show up? Maybe I'm way more independent than I thought. Maybe I'm way more different than I thought. Maybe I have, um, a very unique side to me than I thought. Maybe I'm way more creative than I thought. Maybe I'm more sensitive than I thought. Um, Maybe I have some needs that I haven't been getting met, and I've been getting them met in these weird, distorted, trauma-like ways that are self-sabotaging me in my relationships. Maybe that's kind of the journey we might all be going through, like a healing process where we're kind of weighing out a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different information, and we're we're bringing things more to balance. Okay. And while we're doing this, we're going very deep. We're purging things that are outdated in our system that we no longer need, that are ready for healing, that are ready to go through an evolution of some kind. And we're expanding more of our abundance. We're expanding more of our happiness. We're expanding more blessings in our lives. We're expanding more possibly money in our lives, and wealth in our lives, depending on, you and your personal chart. And so this is a very potent, powerful, deep, expansive new beginning for us. And on top of that, we have a lot of, we have this grand trine that's going on with Jupiter and Mars and Mercury and Lilith and, the North Node and Saturn, and even Neptune. We have this grand trine going on. And basically, a grand trine is an effortless, supportive flow of energy that is supporting all of us. And this grand trine is happening in the water signs. And so that means we have a strong flow of emotional intelligence, a strong flow of creativity and mysticism, a strong flow of intuition and psychic ability, and a strong flow of um, creativity even, that is flowing for all of us on a collective level and bringing us through more expansion, bringing us into new territory that we need to grow in, helping us get something grounded, helping us put in the work, helping us be more disciplined and show up responsibly and in a way that's committed to possibly ground something new into our lives. Having the energy that we channel into something in a very disciplined, grounded, responsible, you know, um, way that's helping us build something that might involve your mind, your communication, the way you translate, the way you think, the way you study, what you're teaching and learning, your wisdom, even your beliefs and your faith, all of that, supporting you now, around this new beginning, a flow of energy that's really supporting you now for this new beginning while this new beginning is occurring. So, what I'd recommend is to play with that image of you being in the courtroom. Maybe something's out of balance in your life, and you need to take a look at your own hidden aspects of yourself, your own shadow sides of yourself that are getting in the way, that are attributing to a lack of abundance, something being repressed. And the more you go through that healing process, the more you can unrepress and clear out energy spiritually on those etheric levels to really open up your creative power, to really open up your brilliance and what makes you unique and special, and to really become more sovereign, which allows an overall rebalancing to occur. Now, if you need help healing, I want to share that I have a free class that's coming up on Thursday, October 30th. It's a live class. You can sign up for free. And this is the introduction to my Radiant Self course, where I teach people how to manage their energy. Basically, by the end of the 4-week course, you're going to be learning how to manage your energy on a daily basis, kind of like when you learn how to take care of your body. You have to brush your teeth, take a shower, wear clean clothes, eat, go to the bathroom. You have to manage your body. You have to take care of your body for you to experience optimal health. The same thing can happen energetically. We have our energy body, we have our energetic hygiene, and I'm teaching you how to manage that um, by learning how to release energy consistently when you want to release it. like when you go to the bathroom. When you want to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. It's like potty training, except I'm teaching you potty training for your energy. You need to release that. I'm going to teach you how to let it go now when you want to. I'm going to teach you how to replenish. I'm going to teach you how to rebalance yourself, how to cleanse yourself, and how to bring more flow into your energy, how to have clean interactions with other people, how to clear entity attachments to your space. And here's the thing, sometimes when we're repressed, sometimes when we have um, imbalances, it's because we have absorbed other people's energy into our space, and we're on an energetic level, we are carrying energy that is not ours. And so it's very important to learn how to manage your energy and heal yourself. That way you can reset on a daily basis and kind of clean yourself up on a daily basis. So no matter who you interact with, no matter what happens, you are able to be clean and clear, which helps you feel calm and balanced and whole, and live out your life in a much more balanced and grounded uh, way. And so, if you're interested in starting that journey with me, you can find more information in the description box where you can sign up for that free class. And if you can't make it live, no problem. Sign up anyways, and I will email you the recording when that class is complete. But if you are interested in the whole 4-week course, it's just 4 weeks. Once a week, we meet live. The classes are recorded and they're 2 hours long, and it's highly transformative tools. Highly recommend it. All right, I'm going to do a lightning round of this new moon and what house it falls in for you. So you can listen for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your rising sign is going to give you the most accurate description of the area of life where this new moon is falling for you, but you can also tune into your sun sign and your moon sign for more of a holistic perspective. All right, starting with Aries, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon is happening in your 7th house of marriage and partnerships and one-on-one relationships. For Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon in Libra is happening in your 6th house of work, employment, service, daily routines, and your health. And even pets can come up around this new moon. For those of you that have Gemini, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon is happening in your 5th house of fun, hobbies, joy, self-expression, creativity, children, entertainment. For those of you that have sun, moon, or rising in Cancer, this new moon is happening in your 4th house of home, family, parents, your emotional security, as well as traditions and ancestry in your private life. For those of you with Leo, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon is occurring in your 3rd house of communication, thinking, processing, your local community, transit, your extended family and siblings and neighbors, even early childhood education. For those of you with sun, moon, or rising, for Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon is occurring in your 2nd house of earned income, material possessions, your values, your self-worth. For those of you with Libra, sun, moon, and rising, this new moon is happening in your 1st house of identity, your physical appearance, the way you perceive the world and the way others perceive you. For Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon is happening in your 12th house of endings, of karma, of things that are hidden, your subconscious, your spirituality, things that are unseen, institutions, your own self-undoing. So this is a new beginning for you in that 12th house. For Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this new beginning is happening in your 11th house of hopes, dreams, altruism, friends, groups, and community. For Capricorn, Rising, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this new moon is happening in your house of career. It involves your career, reputation, legacy, and authority figures. For Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this new moon is happening in your 9th house of higher education, long distance travel, foreign cultures, your goals, your overall philosophy, wisdom, and beliefs. For Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this new moon is occurring in your 8th house of transformation, death and rebirth, intimacy, shared resources, the occult, your psychology, your mental health. All right, everyone, it was so good exploring the new moon in Libra with you. Again, if you're ever interested in signing up for my free class or booking a reading, some kind of astrology reading, I do natal chart readings, solar return readings, readings on the current transits and how they're impacting you, astrocartography, synastry, even readings around the eclipses and how that's impacting you. You can sign up for an astrology reading, an intuitive reading, or an energy healing, or one-on-one classes if you want to learn how to manage your energy and develop your healing abilities and your psychic abilities one-on-one. All right, guys, have a very enlightening new moon, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.